So dear brothers and sisters, it's again a privilege and an honour to be here with you today and to see so many of you back for the reunion. There'll be more joining us a little later on today and some tomorrow for the grand finale of our great celebration for our dear friend, Bohush. So it's great to have you all here with us today. This feast day, the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, I find it difficult to... It's difficult to speak about the Immaculate Heart of Mary just in purely positive terms, in the sense that, it's not one of those kind of wonderful feasts where everything is beautiful and easy and grace-filled and fantastic. It's kind of like yesterday's feast, Feast of the Sacred Heart, where we're celebrating the Lord's infinite love. We're celebrating the fact that his heart is pierced, and because of that, this infinite source of grace is made available to all of us, which is a wonderful thing. But it's the fruit of his heart being pierced. So there's this kind of sadness associated with the Sacred Heart. Well, sadness maybe from our perspective. If you care about someone, you don't want to see them suffer. I don't want to see the Lord suffer. Similarly today, we have the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So we have this heart, such a pure and loving heart. The heart of a mother, the heart of a perfect mother, the perfectly virtuous heart of Our Lady. A soul without stain or wrinkle or sin or anything, who deserves nothing but our love and our affection and our devotion and our protection. Obviously, she's a lot more powerful than we are, but at the same time, we should defend our mama if we can. And yet, this beautiful, pure, and perfect heart is pierced by a sword. Pierced by a sword. Such is her unity with Jesus. So it's just one of those feasts where you have this juxtaposition of opposites. Like this beauty and purity and this life given over entirely to God, this heart given entirely to him, this soul that does not deserve to suffer, that is suffering out of love for us, suffering the similar kind of things that her son would have suffered. Why? Because of their unity. The greatness of Our Lady is always her unity with Jesus. So when Jesus is rejected, when Jesus is despised, when Jesus is hated, again, for any of us who love our mother, or if any of you had a son or a daughter or a husband or wife and you hear someone you love being ridiculed and hated and spat at, that does not just hop off you. In fact, as I've heard from many very good parents, when they see their son or daughter ill, in their prayer, what often emanates from their heart is, Lord, I would prefer if it was me. Give me that illness, that sickness, that cross to carry, but not my son or daughter, not them. That's a loving heart. A loving heart that puts the other's needs above your own, even your need for health. And such is the unity then between Jesus and Mary, that her Immaculate Heart suffers because of us, because of the sin of mankind, because of what we do. So it's one of those, it's kind of a bittersweet, a beautiful and tragic image at the same time. It's like the image of a sorrowful mother, which we've just put up there at the side of the chapel. Those on the live stream probably can't see it, but this chapel was dedicated, or is dedicated, to Our Lady of Sorrows, and there was no actual representation of that in the chapel, so we put up that beautiful image of Our Lady of Sorrows there on your right-hand side for this reunion, to remind us of in whose name we gather here. We gather under the mantle of Our Lady, all directed towards her Son. And we come here then for nourishment, we come here for healing, we come here for strengthening, we come here for direction, we come here for all that we need. Yesterday was it yesterday or the day before? We were doing a bit of catechism. Was that the day before? Catechism, must have been the day before, whatever, it's all a blur. And we were talking about illness and the different perspectives that one might have on illness. Say, for example, Say a child gets sick, okay? So this is something, we were studying apologetics, and we were trying to deal with this question. How can a good God allow suffering? Very common question. It's been asked since the dawn of time. How can a good God allow suffering? So if you take like something difficult, something that's really hard to see, a sick child, that's something that can cut to the core of every human being, anybody with a heart. When you see a child suffer, that's not easy, because you feel so helpless. And the little child has done nothing to deserve this, so it's difficult to see, difficult to understand. So, how about we look at this situation from three perspectives? So the same situation, a sick child. Imagine you're in a ward in Crumlin Hospital, the children's hospital. So you have all these sick children around you. So imagine any one of those children and their situation and their illness, and maybe their bald-shaved head, because of leukemia or whatever difficulty they have. Now, just imagine that this person, okay, but from three perspectives, okay. So, from the perspective of their parents, what do they see? When their parents see their child sick or ill, what do they see? They see someone that they love intensely. They see someone that they want to be well, that they want to be healthy, and that they will, do anything, move mountains, travel abroad, do whatever needs to be done to get the necessary treatment that their son or daughter can be happy. So what they're experiencing, it's a love, it's a pain-filled love, but it's a love nonetheless. They're experiencing a deeper love than you just imagine, like 5-6 years beforehand, when that couple are out socializing, right? And it was all easy, and there they are bopping away in the nightclub and buying drinks to each other and all hugs and kisses, and it's all easy. Right? That's easy. That kind of love, easy. Not a problem. The kind of love they're experiencing now in the face of their sick child, my goodness, that's a different level altogether. It's love. It's similar to that, hopefully, socializing love is a form of love as well. But this is very, very different. This is much, much deeper. Much deeper. I heard someone say recently, sometimes the Lord has to break a heart in order to get into it. Sometimes the Lord has to break a heart in order to get into it. Our hearts become so hard with the experiences of life. So sometimes He has to break a heart to get in. So when the parents see their child, what they see is someone they love. And this experience of loving a child that way opens up their hearts to a depth of love they probably never knew they were even capable of. They would do anything for that child. Okay, that's perspective number one. Perspective number two. Imagine this sick child from the perspective of the enemy, right? The devil. Okay, what does he see when he sees a sick child? It's probably kind of difficult for us to imagine, because most of you are kind of on the road of holiness, so you don't often think, ooh, what would Satan do right now? But if you can allow yourself, not for a brief period, just to kind of step into his mentality. Don't stay there long. But just for a second, pop into his mentality. What does he see? So what does he want? What does he want to do through this sick child? He wants to create division. So he sees in this sick child a wedge. A wedge. I can now drive a wedge between the parents and God. If God was so good, why is this child sick? You see how kind of twisted it is, how kind of perverse it is. The sick child who's so loved, also by God and by their parents. Now the enemy wants to use a sick child as a wedge between people and God, or in general. People say, if God is so good, why does He allow children to get sick? So is this Satan encourages that idea. God isn't good. God doesn't love children. Look. So the same situation from his perspective is that it's a wedge. Okay. Imagine the same situation now from God's perspective. What does God see? What does God see when He sees little Timmy in Crumlin Hospital after getting his leukemia treatment? What does God see? God sees someone that He infinitely loves, that He has created to be with Him forever in heaven. And if that child's life is 6 weeks, 6 months, 60 years, That's not what defines how much love or how much the child is loved by God. It's not that if someone dies young, they were loved less, and if someone lives a long life, they were loved more. The goal was never that we stay here forever. I'm sorry to kind of sound too objective in this thing. I know obviously every death of a young person is tragic. Absolutely. Absolutely. But just for a second, trying to look at this from God's perspective. He has created this person to be with him forever in heaven. Forever in heaven, where they will lack nothing, where they will be eternally joyful. If a person dies young, at peace with God, they are exactly that, at peace. They are happy. They're okay. They're more than okay. We miss them. Again, our faith is that if we keep walking this route towards the Lord, that we too will see them again. But in the meantime, we can't have that other perspective, that diabolical perspective, to start driving a wedge now between me and my Father, because someone in my family became sick or ill or died, at a young age or whatever it may be. That's just not the truth. It's not God's perspective. And sometimes it's exactly through that cross, through those illnesses, that we learn to love like we've never learned before, like we've never loved before. So when we think of Our Lady's Immaculate Heart, she had a human heart, not a divine heart. So she was able to grow in love. And especially at the foot of the cross, like when her heart was so broadened or widened at seeing the suffering of her son, caused by the very people he loved so much and served and healed and preached to and helped. Now these very same people crying, "Crucify him." Just the absolute stabbing into the heart that would cause anyone. But especially Our Lady, because she had no sin, so there was no separation between her and God. So there's this profound love in her heart. So much so great was her heart, so widened was her heart through this love in suffering, that Jesus is then able to say, "Behold your mother. Behold your mother." So all of us have room in our mother's heart. All of us are seen by her like a parent would see a sick child, because we're all messed up in some way. So Our Lady looks at us with that kind of motherly tenderness, urging us on, cheering us on from the sidelines, interceding for us, encouraging us to unite our sufferings to his, encouraging us and guiding us in this school of love. So we thank you, Lord, for such a gift, for the gift of your mother, the gift of her Immaculate Heart. And we ask you, Lord, that we can imitate her selfless, self-giving love, that we can imitate that courage, that steadfastness that she had, even in the face of suffering, that we might not be bound or led or ruled by fear, but that we might unite all and offer all to you for the salvation of mankind. Amen. So dear brothers and sisters, on the 15th of June this year, about 15 of our young people from Holy Family Mission will take place in the Half on the Head half marathon in County Kerry in aid of our missionary work here in Holy Family Mission. If you would like to support this great event, all of their wonderful efforts to get fit and to survive this marathon, in order that our mission can continue to serve young people throughout the country and indeed throughout the world, your support would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So if you want to make any donations on our website, or you can email us at info@holyfamilymission.ie, or go to our website, holyfamilymission.ie, and all donations would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, and God bless you.